You won't believe how this trade war just flipped. Trump's tariffs, once hailed as America's strongest weapon, are now quietly being pulled back. And China? After months of silence, they've responded with a smirk. After promising to never blink, President Trump is suddenly signaling a major tariff reduction on China. According to a post on his social media, he floated the idea of an 80% tariff on China seems right, and quickly passed the responsibility to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Just the other day, Trump swore there would be no backing down. Tariffs were the price China had to pay. Now, he seems to suggest that it was Scott Bessent's idea, but no one's buying it. Not even his own supporters.
Donald Trump just caved to China in his trade war as he is dropping the tariffs without China having to make any concessions. Donald Trump looks weak in his own trade war. Now this morning, after insisting that there was nothing China could do to have the tariffs dropped, here's what Donald Trump announced. 80% tariff on China seems right, up to Scott B. First off, it's not up to Scott Bessent, his Treasury Secretary. It's up to Trump. And if Trump says it, he does it. Yeah, the tariffs are going to be dropped now to 80% from 145. And China hasn't had to do anything. Donald Trump is just folding like a cheap tent in the rain because he knows now this trade war was a bad idea. He's going to destroy the American economy. And now he's looking for a way out. First, it was his fake deal signing with the UK yesterday, and now he's going to start slowly reducing the tariffs, pretending as if they're making deals and making progress when really nothing is happening but Donald Trump caving.
According to senior White House correspondent Lena Wong, this shift isn't part of a grand deal, it's just damage control. Talks in Switzerland are about de-escalation, not resolution.
Now, when it comes to those meetings between Chinese and U.S. officials in Switzerland this weekend, U.S. officials have said that this is more about de-escalating tensions. It's not about coming to some grand trade deal, but they do say that this de-escalation is necessary to move this process forward. Now, this does come as President Trump has announced his first trade deal since he announced those sweeping tariffs months ago, and a trade deal with the United Kingdom. But this trade deal is just a framework at this point. It is limited in scope, and the framework primarily impacts cars and steel. So the first 100,000 British cars that enter the U.S. each year will face 10% tariffs. Then that number jumps to 25%. The U.S. will also eliminate its 25% tariff on UK steel. Then the UK in turn will open its markets to U.S. exports, including beef and ethanol. Now, this deal is still light on details, but the president says that they have time to work those details out and that this sets it up for the two countries to reach a wider trade agreement.
China, who had been serving silence all along, finally responded, and not with gratitude, but with quiet arrogance.
美方近期不断地表示希望同中方进行谈判，这次的会谈是应美方的请求举行的。中方坚决反对美国滥施关税，这一立场没有任何变化。同时，我们也多次说过，中方对对话持开放态度，但任何对话都必须建立在平等、尊重、互惠的基础上。任何形式的施压胁迫，对中国都是行不通的。中方将坚定维护自身的正当利益，维护国际的公平正义。
According to the Chinese Foreign Ministry, they remain firm in opposing U.S. tariffs. They welcome dialogue, but only on equal footing. No pressure, no coercion, just mutual benefit or nothing. But here's the real troll. While Trump blames everyone and everything, China is rolling out red carpets, literally, with slogans like "Make China Great Again" and shopping sprees priced to mock America's inflation. It's clear they are enjoying this.
140-hour visa-free transit policy, China is waiting for you. The NIA has decided to further relax and optimize the visa-free transit policy for foreign nationals. The number of provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities that can be visited under the 240-hour visa-free transit policy has increased from the original 19 to 24. Foreign nationals entering China through the visa-free transit policy can plan their cross-province visits within the allotted activity areas in these 24 provinces. Individuals from 54 eligible countries traveling from China to a third country or region can enter visa-free through any of the 60 open ports in 24 provinces and stay within the allotted areas for visa-free transit travelers for no more than 240 hours. This initiative is beneficial for accelerating cross-border flows of people, promoting international communication and cooperation, and injecting new momentum into the high-quality development of the economy and society. NIA invites more foreign friends to come to China to experience the beauty of the country in this new era firsthand. China is waiting for you.
So, who has been the real victims of Trump's tariffs?
Well. It seems like Trump's art of the deal isn't working. That is right, folks, because China saw its exports to other non-US countries surge, so much so that it completely offset the plunge in exports to the US. In other words, when they said they didn't need us, they were right. In fact, exports from China actually grew 8% year over year, meaning from this point this year and the same point last year, which greatly outpaces the estimation of about a 2% rise from Reuters. And keep in mind that this overall rise in Chinese exports globally is happening at the same time that there is a 21% decrease in exports to the US specifically. When a month before, in March, they had risen 9% because people were panic buying and trying to get all their stuff in before the tariff started. And as if killing it on the world stage wasn't enough, they are also dramatically helping out their people at home by providing stimulus checks to small business owners who were impacted by these tariff measures from the US. And to top it right all off, Trump is conceding and lowering the tariff rate. But of course, it's not up to him. It's up to Scott Bessent. Because when MAGA calls him out for folding while getting nothing in return, he's just going to point to someone else and say they did it. But I want y'all to remember what his cult just said in the Oval Office the other day. If there's one thing you need to understand about the president, he's the closer. So yeah, no one here responsible or accountable for this except for you, Diaper Donnie. So to wrap this all up, don't get it twisted. China is winning. And very much so.
According to Reuters, China's global exports rose 8% year over year. On the other hand, exports to the U.S. dropped by 21%. China found new markets, while America faced rising prices, broken supply chains, and families once again stockpiling essentials.
So my uncle works for the government, and he, higher up in the government, and he called us this 2 days ago, and he said that in the next 2 to 3 weeks we're going to have major supply chain issues in the US because China and tariffs and everything stuck in the boats. So he said you need to stockpile on toilet paper, paper towels, dried goods, soaps. He's like, think of COVID when it was at its height and the shelves were empty. He's like, expect that for 6 to 8 weeks, and then after that it should resolve. So I just got my first drop off. And I sent him a picture and he said, get more. But I have kids. I'm I go through this stuff like crazy. But this is my first drop off, I'm going to head to the Asian market now and just get other dried goods in bulk. But yeah, I guess go get stuff. Go get stuff. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But again, he works for high up in the government and he said this is happening. And it'll be happening soon. So you guys probably 2 more weeks. Get your stuff. I forgot to mention, he also said that diapers, wipes, and formula, it's going to be a massive issue with formula. So if you have kids, definitely get your formula. I mean, obviously I had kids during COVID, and getting formula done was really, really hard. So get it now.
The trade war was supposed to make America stronger. Instead, it handed China a PR win and left America without toiletries and eggs.
Hello, MAGA. Do you have eggs in your home? Do you have toilet paper in your home? Oh, you still have it. Wait a few weeks. By the way, this high-quality toilet paper in China, only $2.
Dear friends in the United States, some of your politicians say that you need to stop buying products from China and start buying American-made products. But I'm just curious, what are the American-made products? Can you show me some of the pictures and links?